Well, welcome to the 2026 Lifetime Sea Otter Classic. It's going to serve as stop number 1 of the 2026 Lifetime Grand Prix.
I absolutely love Sea Otter. It's crazy, it's chaotic, it's busy, but it's one of my favorite events of the year.
This year it's super exciting, obviously having the new teammate being Keegan. Yeah, so that's really cool for this year, and I think it's going to be really dynamic.
I think a lot of people probably feel pressure coming into the first. Like, no one really knows where they stack up against each other. Everyone wants to show the others what they've been working on.
Just the depth, like a lot of strong European riders coming over, and that just makes the fight and everything a lot harder.
I think it's really cool just to be here in the US for the first time in my life, actually. Just getting a good result and to show that I'll be able to compete in the overall is important for sure.
The tension's really high at Sea Otter. Rolling up to the start line feels like there's just a lot on top of you.
5th in the Lifetime Grand Prix and 2nd at Sea Otter in 2025, Matt Beers.
Nowadays it gets harder and harder each year. We have more guys, so you want the confidence.
Try to come into Sea Otter understanding that it might not go your way. But getting kicked off well here feels really great.
But this is going to be the kickoff to the 2026 Lifetime Grand Prix. Let's go! Lifetime Grand Prix, Lifetime Sea Otter Classic 2026. Here we go, folks. Let's hear it for your elite men's racers!
Gun goes off and I miss my pedal like 3 times because I was trying to be a smartass and run road pedals. So that was lesson number 1, and then that just caused a lot of chasing that I shouldn't have done in the first lap to get back to the front group.
A start at Sea Otter is vicious. It is straight off the line up an asphalt hill. You're sprinting with 135 of the best cyclists in the country, all into a multi-use path downhill for 4 miles.
I was prepared just to go almost close to all out in the first climb, just to have a good position in the first downhill.
So there's still a ton of people at the bottom of the first descent, but it's definitely nerve-wracking. Like, you have to be prepared to suffer for 2 minutes, and then you do a pretty sketchy descent, and then straight into a nice 5-minute pavement climb. So it's savage.
We've got 3 30-mile laps totaling roughly 90 miles and just shy of 8,000 feet of elevation, most of the course in the Fort Ord National Monument.
I mean, lap 1 was full chaos. I've never seen a year like that, to be honest. Cam took a flyer. I think to me it was very indicative of this probably wasn't his race day. It's a long race, but there's a lot of moves people make that you try to put that in your head and kind of think about it for later. The most dangerous move on the first lap was Keegan, Brendan Johnson, and Matt Wilson getting away. Such a dogfight for that uphill single track, which is kind of silly because not really anybody goes anywhere.
The race wasn't that hard before then, and then we hit the pavement before the single track, and it was like headwind, like downhill pavement. It was full on, and I had a teammate leading me into there, and then there was a crash at the first corner, and I ended up, entering 30th or something.
And then I was caught behind that. Another huge chase back to the front.
Luckily, I had some teammates with me, and they chased like suicide pulls, sacrificed their race for me to bring them back. But yeah, I forgot about that. That was carnage.
Look at this. This is going to be Keegan Swenson on the front. And he's got a little bit of a passenger with him and a whole lot of daylight behind that back wheel.
Hey, this is where Simon went last year. Okay, you know what? I'll do it this year. I'll be on the offensive.
Yeah, it looked like he was third wheel coming out of that single track, and he made a move quick to get off the front.
I wasn't worried about them going to the finish line, but I was worried about how hard we'd have to go in comparison to catch them after lookout. And so Braden and I worked together, and he did some pulls, and I kind of came over the top going into the first lap finish line and tried to make sure we regrouped.
For our three riders off the front, it looked Matt Wilson, Keegan Swenson, and Brendan Johnson. It did look like that gap was coming down, right? We could get the visual as they were going underneath the start-finish line there, and you could see the chase group coming up a little bit behind them. So the field not really content to let things go.
We caught them right as we finished the descent into the first climb of lap 2. And right when we did that,
A group of 3 super strong Euros got away.
On the beginning of the second lap, I just decided to go with some attacks to start there. And suddenly I was in the front group with 2 other guys. I was in Simon Pelot, and then was a fellow Scandinavian, Magnus Baklaris, which I know also is a really strong guy, so that's a really good group to get away with it.
And they've got not quite 20 seconds, it would appear, on the chase group. Matt Beers, Keegan Swenson, Cole Patton getting himself in that mix.
I think everyone was kind of looking at Matt to pull him back.
We've seen last year there's the guys that want to take flyers, so I made sure that we kept that in check because, yeah, those riders can go the distance. So
it's been pretty aggressive, right, so far, so maybe the field is content to let this one start to ride a little bit and wait for a little later in the race to get the fireworks going on.
Also from the road, I think that I've developed an aggressive riding style. Just like to go in the attack, and I think the riding style suits me well. I feel like there's almost never a bad idea to go in the attack if you're like determined. All the races I start, even how bad they would suit me, I always go for the win.
the real test is always getting back to lookout and seeing how far away they actually are. I think anything under 75 seconds, you can pretty much close on that hill. It's just so tough. And luckily we came in the bottom lookout and looked up and they were pretty much right there. I think they were 35 seconds at the bottom.
Looking as they round that turn and come up to the feed zone again. Looks like we've got 6 riders in that chase. Simone, Magnus, and Anton were the first through the checkpoint here.
The big guy was missing, I believe, is Matthew Beers.
Yeah.
Came off a little bit on the second lap on lookout climb. Yeah, just decided, I had done so much chasing. Keegan had really ridden a good race, like being up there and saving himself. And I made the decision to be like, okay, I need to help him now because I'm not going to survive on the last climb.
Yeah, I would say team tactics are here and they're going to be taking over soon. Like, I wouldn't say they've completely taken over yet, but I mean, yeah, I don't know if my race would have been possible without like some of the help from my team.
I'm climbing okay, but I'm not descending okay. So, as long as I can for you. Oh, you're hitting some button. I need it.
I think by that point, you can tell a lot of people are suffering a little bit. People don't want to roll through as much. There's a couple of guys that were super strong. Kobe Freeburn and Braden were strong, super strong all day. Always Keegan's well. But at the end of the day, when we kind of came out of feed 2 on lap 3, it was pretty clear that the race was going to come down to 3 or 4 guys. And it was all about what your tactics were going into the final climb.
I'm just trying to read Keegan. Like, I could see a lot of other people were suffering, but Keegan's a hard person to read. I never know. Sometimes I think he's not good and he's great. Sometimes I think he's great and he's not good.
Yeah, we came out of, I was leading, and it's like kind of the last dirt corner onto that tarmac section. Yeah, I just put a little bit of like a dig just to like make it yo-yo, and then Keegan was like, cool. Sat up, and then I saw and I was like, cool, I'm just gonna put my head down.
Keegan ended up sending Matt up the road, which I think to a lot of viewers was like, oh my gosh, they're letting him go. But by that point, Matt was so tired that I was pretty sure that most of us would ride him back on the climb, and it wasn't really a question of how far he went. It was more about what Keegan was gonna do, because he was gonna chase him down.
It looks as though Matt's gotten himself away and got a little bit of a gap.
Keegan just looked at me and Alexi and was like, neither of us really wanted to work. It was super windy. We don't want to pull Keegan along into this climb. So we kind of just gambled. I honestly thought Matt would win. It's like, unless he has like really bad legs, like he's going to win.
Yeah, I had a decent gap, but then as soon as that like really steep ramp of the bottom of Lookout, my legs were absolutely gone. And I knew that they would be charging pretty fast. And I looked back and I was like, oh, okay, they're coming at speed. I'm just barely staying upright.
I didn't want to be the one setting the pace on the final climb. Luckily, Keegan was willing to just go all in on the climb. We caught Matt pretty early on. And then it was just me and Keegan, which was like pretty surreal for me, like having looked up to him for so long. And that was kind of like a dream come true, just like battling with him.
And we went into Lookout, and I feel like it was kind of just a dogfight, you know? 1s and 2s all the way up the climb.
Yeah, we were just playing a bit of cat and mouse, like Matt and Alexi were. They were just off of us, and I didn't want to pull too much because, you know, it's kind of Keegan's race to lose, you know?
Braden's going to take the lead right into this downhill. There's 2 more kickers, right? There's the kicker into Laguna Seca and then up the corkscrew.
Braden, look at this. He's on the attack. Braden on the attack, driving it. He says, you know what? You might be the sheriff here, but I am going to make a play for top honors. Braden absolutely leaning into it.
This is our winner somewhere from here. Who is going to lead it out?
There's the attack.
Here it
Keegan with
comes.
a big move up the right side. Braden very quick to respond. You can see he's latched onto that wheel. Look at Keegan, mouth open, really leaning into the pedals as they make that transition onto dirt. Keegan looks back.
You know, Keegan likes to ride super hard till you break, and I just was trying not to let him see me break.
Braden's still going to follow the wheel. This is the point where they're going to get through this right-hander in the sand. You're going to want to take that front position because you've got one more tricky turn.
I didn't even think about the sprint too much before the race because I was like, oh, it's going to blow up. I was like, okay, I need to think about what to do. I need to enter this corner first. So I just sprinted to the inside. He tried to close off on me. I committed, and yeah, luckily I didn't take us both out.
He is going to take this one. There's a new sheriff in town this year. Braden Lang, your winner. The 2026 Lifetime Grand Prix, round number 1.
Crossing the finish line was pretty emotional, I'd say. I've always wanted to win Sea Otter. Like, I've been coming here since it was a UCI XCO race, like, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. I've never won here, so I was overwhelmed with emotion for sure. And then having my team there at the finish, hugging me and just being so excited, like it was so special.
Every year you can finish on the podium at Grand Prix race is great. It's tough. It's a really hard series. Of course, I hoped for more. I hoped to be in that fight all the way to the end, but, you know, proud to show up again and race well.
After all, I was determined to attack the race, considering that the course was so hilly and so hard. There's some small details, but after all, I'm pretty happy with both the effort and the result.
Yeah, I think it's positive. Happy with how everything's going, and yeah, next one is the biggest, I think one of the biggest question mark races.
Yeah, Unbound is definitely a different beast.
Going into Unbound, the goal is the same as before. Do as well as I can in the race.
So I'm excited, and yeah, we'll see how Unbound goes.